Hello, you're watching ERi-TV and welcome to English News Broadcast. These are the top stories. One patient diagnosed positive for COVID-19 and tests carried out today. The 76th United Nations Day observed. The global COVID-19 cases nears 244 million. And Russian and Chinese warships hold first joint patrols in the Pacific Ocean. The local news. We have an announcement from the Ministry of Health. One patient has been diagnosed positive for COVID-19 and tests carried out today at a quarantine center in Asmara Central region. On the other hand, 4 patients who have been receiving medical treatment in hospitals in the central region have fully recovered and have been discharged from these facilities. The total number of recovered patients accordingly has increased to 6,707, while the number of deaths stands at 45. And the total number of confirmed cases in the country to date has increased to 6,789. Ministry of Health, Asmara, October 23, 2021. The 76th United Nations Day was observed yesterday in the presence of senior government officials, international partners, as well as members of the diplomatic corps under the theme Recovering Better for Equitable and Sustainable World. Speaking at the event, Ms. Amakoba Sanda, UN Resident Coordinator in Eritrea, explaining the objectives and stance of the United Nations, said the realization of the objectives demands member states to work together and provide the leadership and the political will necessary for the more fundamental reforms required to upgrade the UN to a mature and robust institution fit for the 21st century and beyond. Ms. Amakombe also said that the commitment Eritrea is demonstrating to protect multilateralism, its desire to take up leadership roles in the United Nations, and its active participation in the UN processes is strong evidence that Eritrea takes its role as member state seriously. In his keynote address, Mr. Osman Saleh, Minister of Foreign Affairs, said the essence of the challenges making world affairs more unreliable is the effects of the inequitable and unjust international order driven by Western nations' geopolitical agendas and interests and the use of unilateral coercive measures. Minister Osman also said the purposes and principles of the United Nations to maintain international peace and security are undermined, sovereign equality negated, the right to live in peace without any threats violated, independent political stance and development choices negated, and international cooperation compromised by self-interests and preconditions, and that collective and coordinated remedial action remains an urgent task. Also at the event, message of the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres was presented. The Ministry of Land, Water and Environment reported that potable water supply across the country has reached 80%. Mr. Msgena Gebreselassie, Director of Water Resource Development at the Ministry, said owing to the strong effort exerted after independence, a potable water project have been implemented at 1,718 villages and semi-urban centers across the country worth over 5 billion nakfa, and that over 1.7 million people have become beneficiaries. Accordingly, out of the potable water projects, 285 are operated with generators, 479 with solar systems, 151 was electricity power, and 932 was hand pumps, and 791 villages with water committees management directives. Mr. Msgena also said for the sustainability of the project, sustainable water management training programs have been organized and called on the public to conduct regular follow-up for the sustainability of the projects. Now back to the international news. After a short break. Welcome back. The total of a number of confirmed COVID-19 cases globally surpassed 243.9 million today, with the deaths toll exceeding 4.9 million. And the number of recovered patients has exceeded 220 million. This is according to World Meters. As of today, more than 6.8 billion vaccine doses have been administered across the world, in which 30.5 million doses in low-income countries, 3.3 billion in upper and middle-income countries and African countries, have administered 182.4 million doses. That means 5.3% of the population in Africa is fully vaccinated. The confirmed COVID-19 case in the United States topped 46.2 million as of today, with the deaths toll exceeding 755,000. This is according to Johns Hopkins University. In India, more than 15,000 people have tested positive for COVID-19 in the last 24 hours, bringing its total COVID-19 cases to more than 34.1 million. UK confirmed a total of more than 44,800 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours alone. This brings the total COVID-19 case in the country to more than 8.7 million. This according to the official Monitoring and Response Center. Russian and Chinese warships held their first joint patrols in the western parts of the Pacific Ocean on October 17th or 23rd. This according to a statement released by Russia's defense ministry today. Moscow and Beijing, which staged naval cooperation drills in the Sea of Japan earlier in October, have cultivated closer military and diplomatic ties in recent years at a time when their relations with the West have soured. The naval maneuvers have been closely watched by Japan, which said earlier this week that a group of 10 vessels from China and Russia sailed through the Tsuagaru Strait, separating Japan's main island and its northern island of Hokkaido. Russia's defense ministry said in a statement that the task of the patrols were to demonstrations of the Russian and Chinese state flags, maintaining of peace and stability in the Asian Pacific region, and guardianship of the subjects of maritime economic activities of the two countries. The leader of Lebanon's Hezbollah warned Israel against drilling for oil and gas in the disputed maritime border area between the two countries until the issue is resolved, and said the Iran-backed group would take action if it did so. Lebanon's cabinet had raised the question to the United Nations Permanent Representative and others in the international community after Israel granted U.S. oilfield service group Halliburton an offshore drilling contract in the Mediterranean, asking to clarify whether the drilling would take place in disputed areas. Lebanon and Israel are in a dispute over the delineation of their territorial waters, and negotiations between the old foes could lead to Lebanon being able to unlock valuable gas reserves amid its worst ever financial crisis. Israel already pumps gas from huge offshore fields. The two countries have been holding on off U.S.-mediated talks since October to try to resolve the issue. Lava continued to pour down the Canary Island volcano on Spain's La Palma Island today, this according to media reports. Buildings burned off as lava continued to pour down, and flames engulfed buildings, and animals were seen running away from the lava flow. Lava from the volcano has covered nearly 800 hectares of land. The Canary Island volcano started spewing red-hot lava and ash on September 19, with eruption showing few signs of abating so far after destroying some 2,000 buildings and forcing thousands to leave their homes. More than 6,000 people have evacuated their homes. Now, a reminder of the top stories. One patient diagnosed positive for COVID-19 and tests carried out today. The 76th United Nations Day observed. The global COVID-19 cases nears 244 million. And Russian and Chinese warships hold first joint patrols in the Pacific Ocean. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.